Hey guys, Levelcap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. DICE is still working to improve server lag in Battlefield 1. The latest CTE patch included a ton of minor fixes and tweaks, as well as server improvements and rubber banding fixes. The results of this patch have yet to be measured, but some players are reporting improvements to their experience. DICE is also looking at the muzzle effects in Battlefield 1. Currently, most guns let out a massive smoke cloud when firing that can obscure enemy players, making it almost impossible to stay on target. DICE is testing the issue and will fix it in a future update. Adjustments to the aim system are also being considered. The weapon rebalance patch players have been anticipating is still in testing on CTE. This is probably the most important gameplay patch for Battlefield 1 yet, and I can't wait to see how it changes the game overall. As for progress on Incursions, the competitive version of Battlefield 1, DICE will soon be testing some core mechanics to the competitive mode. Additionally, the server improvements made for Incursions, like better hit registration, high-frequency servers, and a better trade kill system, will be making their way to the CTE for testing in the near future. The 120 tick rate servers are currently available in the retail version of Battlefield 1, but some other improvements haven't yet been implemented. Finally, the Frontlines game mode is coming to another vanilla map, Suez. It's currently available on CTE and looks very promising. DICE considered it completed, but will make changes as needed once it's available to all players. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta is now open to all players. It includes a wide variety of multiplayer content, but lacks any of the title's single-player campaign. The beta was available 2 days early for players that pre-ordered the game. I've been playing it since the early beta launched, and overall I'd say it's an improvement, a big improvement, over the 2015 Battlefront. So far, highlights of the beta for me are the improved vehicle mechanics and the new Starfighter Assault game mode. If you want my full first impressions on the beta, be sure to check out my video that I made earlier this week. Interestingly, the old Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005 just received a patch that revived the classic game's multiplayer mode on PC. Servers for the game died when GameSpy was shut down years ago. GOG is to thank for the update. They worked with Disney to bring the game back online. Players on both Steam and GOG can play with each other. The PlayStation 4 release of PUBG might be delayed even further than expected. Microsoft already has a timed exclusivity deal for the title, but they're looking to extend that deal into mid-2018. Whether or not PUBG was even going to make it to the PS4 has always been a mystery. The devs themselves have been very unclear regarding the PS4 port. That said, if Microsoft are trying to extend their exclusivity deal, it stands to reason Bluehole intended on releasing the PS4 port eventually. Server issues have been plaguing PUBG lately. Persistent outages during peak hours and daily server maintenance has prevented many players from entering matchmaking. The reason for these issues is the game's popularity. PUBG's servers were originally designed to handle 1 million concurrent players. With peak player counts hitting nearly 2 million at this point, the servers simply cannot handle the load. Bluehole is working on upgrading the server system and will be doing more in the short term to ensure a stable server experience at peak hours. Fortnite's Battle Royale mode is growing incredibly fast. Last week we reported the game hit 1 million players only a day after launching. This week it hit 7 million total players. Obviously that's not concurrent players and the game is free to play, but it's still pretty impressive. The latest patch for the game added duos matchmaking and supply drops. Free-to-play action RPG Warframe's open world expansion Plains of Eidolon launches next week. It will be the game's first truly open world environment and features a map about 3 square kilometers in size. Extensive gameplay footage has been released since the expansion was originally announced. Warframe's expansions generally tend to be massive additions to the game, and Eidolon is looking to be by far the biggest. Call of Duty's World War II Season Pass will include a bonus map called CARENTAN. This map was originally in the first 2 Call of Duty titles. CARENTAN will launch with the main game on day 1. 4 DLC packs are scheduled for this year's COD title, with the first one releasing in 2018. DLC content will include new multiplayer and zombie maps, as well as new war missions. The tactical World War II shooter Hell Let Loose has debuted on Kickstarter. The 9-minute gameplay video launched with the fundraiser shows plenty of combat situations ranging from open, outdoor environments to close-quarter indoor fights. The game is being made for 50 versus 50 player matches fought on massive 4x4 kilometer maps. It will include persistent MMO elements that push the front lines of combat around depending on the results of each match. Funding for the game has already surpassed the initial goal, so backers can expect a closed alpha to launch in early 2018. Early reviews for Middle-earth: Shadow of War are very positive. The game had come under fire for the inclusion of paid loot boxes that apparently lock some of the rarest items and characters behind a paywall. Fortunately, it sounds like the loot crates are more weird and unnecessary than something that negatively impacts the gameplay experience. Fans of the first game will feel right at home, but there's much more content and gameplay variety this time around. Intel's new 6-core Coffee Lake CPUs have been revealed. Benchmarks show the highest-end CPU of the line, the $380 i7-8700K, competing handedly with AMD's flagship consumer CPU, the Ryzen 7 1800X. Coming in at $20 less than the 1800X, the new Intel chip really does look like a very compelling deal. Reviewers are saying it is hands down the best gaming CPU money can buy right now. That spot was previously held by Intel's 7700K, which beats AMD's 1800X for the top spot when it comes to raw gaming performance. Unfortunately, it's not without its share of problems. While the new CPUs use the same socket as Intel's previous generation CPUs, you still need a new motherboard. And compatible motherboards are definitely on the pricey side, with the cheapest ones starting at around $485. Those prices will probably come down in the very near future, but at the moment it does make it kind of difficult to adopt the new chipset if the motherboard itself is more expensive than the CPU. The new Intel CPUs also run very hot when overclocked. With an overclock, the 8700K performs as well or better than an AMD CPU in most cases, but getting there requires a very high-end air cooler or decent all-in-one liquid cooler. Overall, Coffee Lake is still a very big upgrade for Intel's product line, the first time Intel has released a 6-core CPU priced for the average consumer. What's going to be even more interesting is how the more affordable i5 Coffee Lake CPUs perform. Downclocking the 8700K shows an even lesser version of the CPU should be capable of great performance, but no real-world testing has been done with the i5s yet. In our final story this week, the next CSGO major has been announced. TBS's E-League will host the event in Boston starting on January 19th, with the finals happening on the 28th. 16 teams including VP, SK, and Cloud9 already have spots given their performance in the previous major event. The prize pool is set at $1 million like other major events. Given the excellent production value of previous E-League events, this is sure to be an incredible major. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.